Hi guys, day 2 of history. My history, your history. And I am so happy to be doing this again today that I didn't change my mind that this wasn't a good idea. So I'm really happy about that because I'm really committed to this. I really want to get through this, and I really think that even if you don't appreciate it today, that someday, maybe even after I'm gone, you'll look back on these videos and they could answer a lot of questions for you. And as you know, today, as I record this, is Grandma's 70th birthday. Maybe you're not aware, but I just can't believe it. I really can't. I mean, it's been almost 6 years, and just to share with you a little story I have about her birthday. I had just gone on a cruise with Marianne. I'd gotten back on the 12th, and I was in Jupiter on the 13th. And we were not on speaking terms, really. She didn't want me to go on the cruise. We had a big fight. She wanted me to stay with her. I wanted her to come with me on the cruise. She didn't want to. I got back. She wasn't very nice, and I ended up not seeing her on her last birthday. And, I really felt justified at the time, but do I wish I could have changed it? Yes, I wish I could have changed it. I didn't know. We didn't know she had cancer at that point. As a matter of fact, the week before, she had been completely, they said you don't have any cancer anywhere in your body after she had had her pancreatitis in August. So at that point, I didn't know she had cancer, and I thought we had plenty of time to make up, and that is the lesson to be learned, because you just don't know if you're going to have time to make up. And of course, we got past it, and I got to be with her last couple months. But, to not have spent her last birthday with her, I really, really regret it. But try not to regret things. It's a lot easier. But anyway, let's head on. February 1964. Yesterday we did January. Today we are doing February. And February was an awesome way to start off because the Beatles had their first #1 song, I Want to Hold Your Hand. It made #1. Yay! And we all love that song. Who doesn't know that song? So happy. Because on the 3rd, we have to go back to Vietnam. I hate going back to Vietnam, but we're not going to get through this without mentioning Vietnam. And since I know so little about it, this is forcing me to learn things that I didn't know. But remember when I talked to you about January, General Min had taken over, and when he took over, he decided that he was going to allow more U.S. troops over there, which I'm sure was not a good thing, as we know. But and he also wanted to start covert operations into North Vietnam, and I can only imagine when they had heard the news that they wanted more troops sent over, people were not really happy. But this was still only 64, so we don't know how much it was in the news at that time. But on the 9th, I kind of did some math, and I figured out that Grandma would have figured out this week that she was pregnant. Now, I remember finding out about all my pregnancies, and, it's a pretty happy day. Some of them happier than other days, but hers was not going to be a happy day. She was a junior in high school. She had just, it's February. She's at the end of her junior year, looking forward to her senior year, and she finds out she's pregnant. And not only does she find out she's pregnant, but my grandparents did not like my dad. My dad was older. And it's not somebody that they would have chose for her. I mean, he didn't graduate from high school. He was working. I can't even imagine as a parent him showing up at the doorstep to take one of my daughters on a date. I don't think it went over well. I don't even know that he did that for a fact. But anyway, I don't even know if they knew about him really by this time. I'm not sure how much they dated. She never really talked about it, but I did want to do the math just to kind of put that in perspective of what was going on in her world. So, and on that week, the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. Now, Grandma hated the Beatles. I mean, hated. She wouldn't listen to them at all. And everybody assumes that because my name is Michelle, that she somehow liked them and named me after them. But that just wasn't the truth. Now I'm kind of understanding, so while they're appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show and everybody's going crazy about it, she's not having a very happy moment in her life. And maybe the Beatles reminded her of that. So I always wondered why she didn't like them because everybody liked them, but when you see that's what's so awesome when you put it in a timeline, because then you can see like, oh well, that kind of makes sense. I never asked her, but I'm just thinking that that may have been one of the reasons. So on February 11th, Sarah Palin was born. So I used to love her. I loved her when she first came out. I don't know, whatever. But she's my age, and I really didn't realize that she was my age. But on the 15th, Chris Farley was born, and I didn't realize that he was born in 64 either. Now, we know Chris Farley ended up dying at the age of 33. That was back in 97 of a drug overdose, so he had a very short life, but we got to enjoy his movies, and, he was very funny. So, but on the 25th, I thought this was really cool. Muhammad Ali beats Sonny Liston and becomes the heavyweight champion. I didn't realize time-wise that happened in 64, and I don't know how much they broadcasted it, because I was thinking if they did broadcast it, my dad probably was watching. And probably every male was watching, but I'm going to assume that they broadcast it. I don't know how they find out. I didn't know how they, with not having very many channels, and who knows how it was, but let's just assume that my dad was watching and or at least knew about it, and he loved Muhammad Ali. So now on the 29th, I figured out this kind of very cool fact. So my mom finds out in the beginning of the month that she's pregnant with me, right? Well, her grandmother, my grandfather's mom, who lived very close to them, dies at the end of February. So, and what I realized later, after I had you, Annie, what I realized is that she was called Grandma Annie. And I didn't really ever put the two and two together until I saw this when I was going through the ancestry. And I remembered that when she would talk about her, that's how she referred her to. Now, this woman, Grandma Annie, the reason that she used to talk about her a lot is because she had like 8 or 9 children, and all of her daughters died within a 2 to 3 year span during the Spanish flu era, back in the 1915 to 17 or something like that. All 5 of her daughters died. She was left with her 3 youngest sons. As a mom, I can't even comprehend that. And my mom said she was like an angel, and she walked around with a smile on her face, and it's truly amazing. I never met her, obviously, but I don't know. And then I went on to have a daughter, Annie, and I never really put that together because Annie was a nickname, but I'm really happy about that because I think that, you were named after a very strong woman. So I think that's kind of cool. But that is it for February, and we'll be doing March soon. Bye.